Hello students, today we will continue with regulation of cardiac activity. Students, normal activities of the heart are regulated intrinsically. Intrinsically means within heart. Means normal functioning of the heart is regulated by the heart from within its side. That is auto-regulated, means self-regulated by the heart. By specialized muscles which is called nodal tissue. I earlier told you there are specialized tissues in the heart just like SA node, AV node, bundle of His and Purkinje fibers. These are the specialized cardiac tissue and this tissue is known as nodal tissue, and this SA node is able to generate impulses. It doesn't require any neural supply, so it is capable of generating impulses itself, so it is auto-regulated. And as the heart is not required of any neural supply for maintaining its activity, so it is also known as myogenic. Myogenic means impulse is generated from cardiac muscle itself and not in the nerves or neurons. For example, our skeletal muscles, for example the muscles of our hand, are neurogenic. There are two terms, one is myogenic and second is neurogenic. Our muscles of hand are neurogenic because the contraction of muscles takes place when the impulse is generated in the neurons. So the muscles of hand are neurogenic, but muscles of heart are myogenic because impulse for the contraction of heart muscle takes place from within the heart muscle itself, so it is myogenic. So students, I think it is clear, the cardiac muscle is myogenic. If we cut all the neural supply of the heart, even then the heart will beat. So this explains the myogenic nature of the heart. But even then students, our brain is capable of controlling the cardiac activity. Though it is not generating the cardiac impulse, but even then our brain is capable of controlling the activity of the heart, and that is done by autonomic nervous system. A special neural center in the medulla oblongata can moderate the cardiac function through the autonomic nervous system. Students, there is a center in the medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata, you know, is the part of our brain, and in medulla oblongata there is a center known as cardiovascular center, which affects the SA node of the heart. SA node is generating the impulse for the cardiac muscle, so this cardiovascular center is affecting the activity of SA node. Through autonomic nervous system. And students, you know, there are two parts of the nervous system, one is central nervous system and other is peripheral nervous system. And in peripheral nervous system there are two types of nerve, one is somatic nerves which are under our conscious control, and other is autonomic nerves which are not under our conscious control. So this autonomic nervous system is not under our will. So this autonomic nervous system is further divided into two parts, one is sympathetic nervous system and other is parasympathetic nervous system. So neural signals through the sympathetic nerves can increase the heart rate, the strength of the ventricular contraction and thereby the cardiac output. Students, one type of nerves which are affecting the SA node are the sympathetic nerves, which when stimulated causes the release of neurotransmitters. These are the chemicals which are transmitted to the SA node for affecting its activity. And what is the effect of this sympathetic nervous system? It increases the heart rate. Students, sympathetic response of our body is fight and flight response. Whenever there is some emergency, we are required to fight or flight, then this system gets activated and releases the neurotransmitters which increases the heart rate. And this sympathetic nervous system also linked to the ventricles and causes the increased force of contractions of these ventricles. So what will be the ultimate effect? There will be increase of heart rate, strength of ventricular contraction will be increased, and as the heart rate is increasing and force of ventricular contraction is increasing, so cardiac output will be increased. We know cardiac output is the product of heart rate and stroke volume. As the heart rate will increase, cardiac output will increase. On the other hand, parasympathetic neural signals, which is another component of autonomic nervous system, decreases the heart rate, speed of conduction of action potential, and thereby the cardiac output. And students, this parasympathetic response is known as this parasympathetic system will lead to decrease in heartbeat and decrease in speed of conduction of action potential, and thereby the decrease in cardiac output. Because the heart rate is decreasing, so the cardiac output will decrease, because again the cardiac output is the product of heart rate and stroke volume. And this parasympathetic nervous system is rest or digest response. Just like the sympathetic nervous system was the fight or flight response, this is rest or digest. Means whenever our body is resting or is carrying out activities just like having food, then this parasympathetic system is overpowering the sympathetic system. So at that time, the impulses are sent from the medulla oblongata, which affect the SA node activity and which will lead to decrease in heart rate. So whenever we are running, means flight response, heart rate is more. When we are resting, heart rate is less. So students, I think nervous system controlling the heart rate is clear. And third thing controlling the cardiac activity is adrenal medullary hormones. There is a gland known as adrenal gland over the top of kidneys. This adrenal gland has further two parts. Outer is cortex, which is known as adrenal cortex. Inner is adrenal medulla. And this adrenal medulla secretes some hormones which are collectively known as catecholamines. And these are two hormones, adrenaline and noradrenaline. These adrenaline and noradrenaline have the same response as the sympathetic nervous system, means fight and flight response. These are activated whenever fight or flight response comes. So adrenal gland secretes the hormones adrenaline and noradrenaline, and they will in turn affect the cardiac activity and will lead to the increase in heart rate and increase in cardiac output. So these were the three types of control over the heart. Now students, we will continue with disorders of circulatory system. First, we will study hypertension. Hypertension, also known as high blood pressure. Hypertension is the term for blood pressure that is higher than normal. Students, normal blood pressure is 120 over 80. There are two readings while measuring the blood pressure. One is upper reading, that is 120, which is called as systolic blood pressure, and the lower reading is known as diastolic blood pressure. Systolic blood pressure is recorded when heart is in a systolic phase, when ventricles are contracting, whereas this lower reading is taken when heart is in a relaxed state or when ventricles are in diastolic phase, when ventricles are in relaxed state. So upper reading is known as systolic blood pressure, lower reading is known as diastolic blood pressure. In this measurement, 120 mm of mercury is the systolic blood pressure, or pumping pressure is also known, whereas 80 mm of mercury is known as diastolic or resting blood pressure, because at this time heart is not contracting, ventricles are not contracting. This is also known as resting pressure. If repeated checks of blood pressure of an individual is above 140 over 90 or higher, it shows hypertension. If we check 2 to 3 times and the repeated checks of the blood pressure are more than 140 over 90, then the condition is known as hypertension. This high blood pressure leads to heart disease and also affects vital organs like brain and kidneys. And students, whenever there will be high blood pressure, that will affect our other organs, because whenever there will be hypertension, the arteries will get narrowed due to the formation of plaques in them, which the condition is known as arteriosclerosis. Sclerosis means hardening, means arteries gets hardened. They lost their flexibility due to the formation of plaques in them. So when plaques will be formed in the arteries, they will get narrowed, and that will affect the blood supply of different body organs. So when blood supply of brain will be affected, that may lead damage to the brain tissue, and the condition is known as stroke. Similarly, in eye, that may cause blindness. In heart, that may cause heart attack and heart failure, and in kidneys, that may lead to the kidney failure. So it affects the vital organs like brain and kidney. Students, next we will study about coronary artery disease. Coronary artery disease, often referred to as atherosclerosis, affects the vessels that supply the blood to the heart muscle. Students, similar to this arteriosclerosis, even in the heart, blood vessels supplying the heart, which are known as coronary arteries, they also develop atherosclerosis. Atherosclerosis and arteriosclerosis are almost related terms. Athero means paste-like. So the paste-like material gets deposited inside the arteries, and due to this deposition, they lost their flexibility and leads to the hardening of the blood vessels, which is known as sclerosis. Sclerosis means hardening. So there are two things. One, the paste-like material is deposited, so the word athero, and the arterial walls get hardened, the word is sclerosis, then collectively known as atherosclerosis. So the coronary artery disease, often known as atherosclerosis, affects the vessels that supply blood to the heart muscle. And if this atherosclerosis is affecting the coronary arteries, then the condition is known as coronary artery disease. and it is caused by deposits of calcium, fat, cholesterol and fibrous tissue, which makes the lumen of arteries narrower. And students, this plaque is formed of calcium, fat, cholesterol and fibrous tissue. So the persons who are on high saturated fat diet, they develop this condition. Now next condition we will study, that is angina. Angina, also called angina pectoris. The complete name of angina is angina pectoris. A symptom of acute chest pain appears when not enough oxygen is reaching the heart muscle. And students, if there is atherosclerosis, the blood supply to the cardiac muscle will get hampered, and when blood supply to the heart muscle will not be enough, then heart muscle will not get enough oxygen and nutrient supply, so that will produce chest pain. Acute means short lived. So the chest pain appears which lasts for 15 to 30 minutes, so the term is acute chest pain. This angina can occur in men and women of any age, but it is the more common along the middle aged and elderly. This angina is more common in middle aged and elderly people. It occurs due to conditions that affect the blood flow, and it occurs in the conditions that affect the blood flow, like the atherosclerosis. Now next thing we will study is heart failure. Heart failure means the state of heart when it is not pumping blood effectively enough to meet the needs of the body. Students, suppose this is heart, this is left ventricle, this is left atrium. Suppose if the aorta, if the opening of aorta gets narrowed, the condition known as aortic stenosis. Suppose the valve which is guarding the aortic opening gets narrowed, the condition is known as aortic stenosis. What will happen? Blood will get accumulated inside the left ventricle, because it will not be able to pump enough blood outside because the valve has get narrowed. Blood will then put back pressure inside the left atrium, so blood will get accumulated inside the left atrium, which will put further back pressure inside the lungs. So the blood from the lungs will not get drained into the left atrium, and blood will get accumulated inside the lungs. So that will lead to the congestion of lungs. Congestion means over accumulation of the fluid. So heart failure means state of heart when it is not pumping blood effectively. Heart is not pumping blood effectively enough to meet the needs of the body. Means there is some defect due to which heart is not able to pump enough blood outside the heart. It is sometimes called congestive heart failure, because congestion of lungs is one of the main symptoms of the disease. I told you students why it is called congestive heart failure, because the back pressure inside the left ventricle to left atrium to lungs will lead to the congestion inside the lungs. Heart failure is not the same as cardiac arrest or a heart attack. In cardiac arrest, heart stops beating, and in heart attack, when the heart muscle is suddenly damaged due to an inadequate blood supply. And students, these two conditions, cardiac arrest and heart attack, are the sequelae of this atherosclerosis. When cardiac muscle is not getting enough blood, it may get damaged. first there will be chest pain, which is known as angina and also known as heart attack. But if the patient is not getting medical attention, then the cardiac muscle will get damaged, and if the cardiac muscle will get damaged, that will lead to the cardiac arrest, in which heart will stop beating. So cardiac arrest and heart attack are two different terms from the heart failure. So students, this was for today. If you have any doubts, you can mention in the comment section. We will answer you as much as possible. And if you want notes, you can download from the description box. Thank you.